in compute. And so we didn't have cloud infrastructure. When I was in grad school, we trained on desktops. And it's an ironic name because we had to push them under desks to have enough room in like a dusty old lab. And that's what your compute was. So there was no option to take gigabyte scale data sets and train neural networks or anything like that. So we have that now. We've had that for a while. Very recently, in the last year, we've seen this explosion in model size and this heavy investment in highly parallelized training of these models with very large scale data sets. And so if we look back around 2017-18, the first of what we call large language models came out. Workday started working with those at the time. We worked in particular with BERT. The first GPT model came out around then. About 100 million, 120 million parameters. Okay, so don't worry about what a parameter is if that language isn't familiar. Just think of that as the rough sizing of the model. You go forward a few years and you get to 1 billion plus parameters with the GPT-3 model. Then you go forward and you get to 500 billion plus parameters. And up in the far right, we're at 1 trillion plus parameter models. And those really large scale ones are the ones that you see doing these kind of mesmerizing things with language. You give it a gigantic input and it produces a gigantic output that's well structured. You say, write me a song and it can do that. You say, create an API for me to be able to do such and such functionality and it writes software for you. So like these things, and I think that's, to answer the question directly, that's the big change that everybody is interested in. That you now see what looked like kind of interesting things, but a little bit esoteric for researchers to look at, or very specific applications. These language models are showing incredible generality in what they can do, and incredible length in what they're able to output. And I think that's why everybody got excited right about a year ago when ChatGPT launched. And ChatGPT also put this in the mainstream, right? People could now touch and play with these things where, as an implementer and a practitioner, we always had insight into that, but now people could just interact with it and see what they can do. And I think those things have created a lot of excitement.